but
Um,
next time.
we're online here having a discussion, right? And I'm always happy when my brother Kabaka comes on. And me and you need to have a TV show. But really, I want the question to my brethren are, right? And especially those of you who are in the industry. How do you deal with situations where you are in a room or in an environment with outrightly predatory brethren? You know they are predators, but okay, we're not just going to call out a man because we know he's a predator. And then a woman walks by and then he does some dumb shit and you are around and everybody's laughing because you know how this artist thing go. The artist says something, the dumb people laugh in response. It's, you know, the call and response of stupidity sometimes. How do you respond in a moment like that? Right? Are you a silent, are you the silent type? How do you respond? Are you, you know what I mean?
I mean, well, firstly, we try to surround yourself with people who, you know what I mean, are going to uphold a certain standard because you're known by your company, you know. Naturally, I think, like, you know, the people them who me close to a certain way, like, I wouldn't expect them type of behavior from them. You know what I mean? But, you know, sometimes we're in situations where we're amongst people where we, you know, we're not really close to a certain way and them act out, and definitely you have to say from it cross a certain line, you have to say so. You know what I mean? Either that or you take away yourself and now say, yo, you know, want to be a part of this, because sometimes we have this thing in a Jamaica where we always, when it comes to man and woman, we always like take a stance like, yo, we don't know what's happening in a for them private world, you know. So that is a thing where, you know, there's a two-sidedness to that. Where, you know, part obviously you don't want to fuck yourself in people business, but at the same time
we are a village.
Yeah, if it forget what the animal them use, but if it look like a dog and smell like a dog, is that, you know what I mean? Is that so? Yeah. It's like you really have to really know how you deal with them situation there. But I mean, for me, still, everyone accountable to themselves, and them are gonna get them judgment. You know, sometimes we can't really know exactly what's going on the deeper level still. But right now, I think ones like ourselves, and especially the man them, because we know how the thing set. Like we have to stand out. You know what I mean? We have to talk, we have to discourage them activity. You know what I mean? Like the other day when
and it is the men of influence who have to do this.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
It's not just the little humble man, them, it's the men of influence.
Yeah, definitely. If your name Hatta Road, you have to lead the charge to them thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? When man like me sing trample them and them thing there, and I talk about the pedophile them and the rapists them, because my name is not the hottest thing a road. Maybe them song they no reach with need for reach. You know what I mean? And then maybe the DJ them now play them song, yeah. So, you know, it's like, you know, people just look for the music where I gonna make people shake them ass or whatever and dance and forget about all the problems in life. That's what people tend to be playing. But when music come with strong message, Unafraid and them song, we don't hear them song up on radio. You know what I mean? And we have to salute the one and few who play them still. You know what I mean? But, you know, this is our way of speaking out. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's not everybody have the personality to go and record videos and post on IG every day. I don't have that personality. You know what I mean? Even though I feel like, you know, I have things where I want to say, but that natural urge for just go take up the camera and go record and talk, my mind. I don't have that urge. You know, and like some people who, you know what I mean, do it regularly without shirts and, and things like that. You know what I mean? But I just know my thing that. I know my thing that. But at the end of the day, we speak through the music and,
yeah,
you know, and every now and then when things really hit the fan, that's when you hear me talk out with certain things. Because.
And that is why we are here now. Like the whole of March, I just could not speak, right? When they say this woman's mouth, like, I don't have no more opinion. I don't really have a lot more to say. And so I just wanted to see who would come on here and who I could get to say something. And especially from the virgins, because really and truly, sometimes it's not even that we want to hear what we know what the problems are. We know what the problems are. We want to hear what is a solution. We want to hear something that can translate to the young people them. And I hear somebody dropping popcorn. If popcorn, I've been phoning them, I know him to come on my live. Like if popcorn can come on my live or next to that. I want to chat to some of them man who have the access on the road.
So one thing whenever I have a platform and you know, me like when I sit on the platform, yeah. You know what I mean? Me give thanks for calling me up still. But what I always say whenever I have a platform to speak is that Jamaica need like an ancestral healing. Like there's some deep energies flowing in through Jamaica where the thing about it is there's a beauty and there's a darkness to it. And sometimes we don't like use the word darkness in other way there still. But there's a beauty and a ugliness.
But we don't judge the darkness. Yeah, you're right.
That's the thing. It's like it's just the reality. We have light and we have dark, you know. These are things within nature. So what I came across is some information. You know, we don't know how true these things are, but they're saying that in the origins of Jamaica as we know it, you know, during slavery and post-slavery, it was quote unquote captives from other islands that they would bring to Jamaica, the most rebellious, you know what I mean, the ones them who are causing most problems on different islands, they would bring to Jamaica to be broken. You know what I mean? And they would do heinous acts for the most rebellious people them in front of everybody. You know what I mean? So and there is
not to cut you, but as somebody who is not in Jamaica now, I'm telling you, this ancestral this healing is required for us all, the entire diaspora. You know,
sure.
It is
for sure. But when you really check out how Jamaica has been prosperous in certain regards and you know, violent and the crime rate and certain things, like specifically, I think there's and the thing is, you know, if Jamaica was to heal, just imagine the impact on the diaspora. And I'm not even coming from an ego place. Cause I think because of these same origin, because
everybody
of these same origins, there is an egotism within Jamaica too. Because we're the baddest, we're the most athletic, we're the smartest. We inspire all the revolutions around the planet. So there's an ego. Exactly. There's an ego with that where I try not to subscribe to and thing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's some deep-rooted problems. Like we can't trust each other. You know, we don't want to do business ventures together. We try to break down the crab in a barrel syndrome. And yes, these things apply
all over.
Of course, it applies all over. But it's like I see certain places unite. Like I haven't been to like Antigua and Grenada and some of these other places, but the way of the people them able to, like, even the Rasta community able to progress themselves certain way in these other places. You know what I mean? And then it's like in a Jamaica, we still can't, you know what I mean, unite around certain things on a level.
You know, I always thought that, you know, Jamaicans, apart from, because we have this powerful history of, you know, the Maroons and the gangster thing, and we're the baddest and nobody can conquer us, and we got over this so early, and before we even had to really seriously fight, like how Haiti did have to fight, we were given independence. So we never really have to fight in the same way for as long.
And we don't.
Because some of that fight now was just polarized. So, okay, it's just Maroons or it's just the Rastafari and everybody else, you know, one love and all of that. We are so quick to think everything is okay. But at the same time, Jamaica suffers from this. It's like a cognitive dissonance. It's like all of this is happening, but the world thinks we're cool, so we're cool. So let's just celebrate and act like happy.
That is the hypocrisy.
People, right?
That is the hypocrisy.
It's like we don't have anything to truly fight for anymore. And so this generation is not the revolutionaries who built Jamaica. It's not the blood, sweat, and tears. It's not the Rastafari who had to stand up and know that if you have locks on your head, police can take a hanger and rip it out of your head and bust them and tell people for killing on the streets. You can just wear locks.
Bad Friday.
It's a fashion statement. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the real revolutionary spirit is not there. But there's still all the aggression of old.
Exactly.
And so we end up now channeling that aggression toward each other.
Exactly. It's this place. It go towards each other.
Worse,
Got you.
Let's talk outside of even Jamaica now. So like, and then me being here in Africa now, I notice a thing, right? Because those who are leaving and coming here have this Wakanda idea in their mind of Africa, right? This, I'm gonna come and run away to Africa. I have no plan, but I'm just gonna do and forget everything else, kind of thing. They have no plan. They are going to be of no value to the African nation, but they are here to escape, and they think that they have something to give. And they are coming to save Africa. Yes? Yep. And you see them and they come over here and they are so angry. And they've been here for a while and then they can't get rid of that. It's like they don't realize your fight is over, you know. The fighting finished now, you know. Like, when are we going to realize the fight has been won? The fight has been won. The war is over. The only war is now within yourself. As bad as things are for us, it has never been a better time. It never better. I mean, 10 years, when else was it? It's just that now we're getting to see all of the cockroach car, everything lift up and light turn on and camera shine. But it's not that it's getting worse.
No, definitely.
So what do we do? How do we now move from a place of, I am holding on to these vestiges and slavery and do that to, okay, I am liberated. I am not enslaved. I can now actualize anything I can imagine. I have the tools. And that's really the answer. Using the tools, right? Meditation. Using your literacy. If you cannot read, communion with nature. Learning the seasons and planting something. Having some relationship with some other living thing that is not just another human. You know? Like,
okay, we still fighting old battles where we don't even have the freedom to know that we can be economically free. Like, we can use technology and these things to own our own businesses, to monetize our talents. All of these things, a lot of us still following the slavery model, the colonial model, where we have to go to school, get these degrees, and then we have to go do this and work for somebody and do all of that.
Don't be a slave. This slave education, this rote learning, all the way up to freaking university, that all it does is teach you how to work for people.
Exactly.
So you come out of university with your first class honors and don't know how to make any money because nobody taught you.
That's not like a side off byproduct, you know, that was the aim.
That's the aim,
that's
exactly.
A colonial education. That's the purpose of it. You know, it's not to build entrepreneurs or, you know.
It is to build a workforce.
Exactly.
Right? And we look down on the business people. Because you remember, you know, when you're in a school, when you're in a high school, and like we who did the sciences and the arts feel very, very, you know, like we're so much more intellectual, and the people them we do the business subject is like, if you can't do the arts or that, then you have to do the business subject. Like you look down upon that, right? And then you come out now and you have your big fancy job working for fancy people, and all who do them business subject now have 3 business and doing well in life, and you have, and they will call you and hire your ass. Yeah, I'm saying you're getting checks from these people.
It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing because I feel like in Jamaica the school system is trying to churn out like the business side. Like, you know, it's definitely not encouraging arts and creativity. You know what I mean? As a proper line of like occupy. I even wrote an article that was in the Observer about this the other day. That them not really engendering arts and creativity, like the creative industries, like in a professional level. It's looked down upon.
No.
You have to have these degrees and these other, either medicine or law or business. These are the things that you have to have. And if you want to go and do arts, then you have to have this to fall back on. You know what I mean? It's like, this is Jamaica. We breed creativity every single day. This should be a national mandate to focus on these areas of the workforce and really cultivate them talent there and generate that. And there should be a production line, say, you know, say, yo, this is where you, this is where you want to be. From early, we waste so much time. We waste so much time studying, you know, European history and geography and all of them things. That when want to skills training, like, imagine if I did learn. Imagine if I did learn like things like Photoshop, although we never have some of them things that in our days still. But imagine, like, if you all learn Photoshop and certain things from like before you're 10 years old at school. You know what I mean?
Or imagine if you learn computer coding.
That's what I'm saying.
Imagine if you learn how to code and create your own game and your own program. while your brain is still supple.
For sure.
If you are
For
learning
sure.
multiple languages.
And
You
that's
know
the
what I mean?
thing. 'Cause I remember doing programming in a high school, like an extra lessons class. And the way how them a teach you the programming is like them don't want you become a programmer. It's like you just learn some abstract thing where you're not seeing how this can become a game in the future. You know what I mean? You're not
But so
really
them teach
learning.
mathematics too.
Yeah,
Them
you're not
teach,
learning.
they teach all of the extremely important things in such a abstract way.
Very abstract,
Right?
not practical, not practical
No.
at all.
I didn't start appreciating mathematics until I left school and started studying like sacred geometry and seeing how
Of
that
course.
math like temple work. I said, blows and skirt.
No, but that's the thing. They start with algebra because algebra is abstract. But they should really start with geometry because geometry, it's with nature. It's in nature. Practical applications. Yeah, and you know.
Yeah, and I feel like because of a lack of engagement of like the youth are truly not engaged by the education system.
Exactly.
And there is nothing else. So the programs that were in place in the 80s, like the skills training, when the SDC used to have a whole heap of skills training. So like you could go to school, but you could also learn a skill.
Yeah,
you know, like woodwork or ceramics or learning to sew and all of these things. Like some of the greatest artisans came out of those things. You don't have those anymore, right? So there's nothing competing with social media right now. Nothing. Or the television. There's nothing competing with it. And
that is where the education is now.
And so the thing that is most promoted on the internet is pornography. So that is what the youth's learning, right? Either hardcore porn or softcore porn or subliminal pornography, but that is all they are being
humanity.
Early.
Humanity is over-sexualized just in every aspect. That is like
to the point now where I am worried for the little girls. I am worried for the little girls who are growing up now. And it's not, and again, this is not a space of judgment where we're saying it is wrong to dance a particular way or dress a particular way, you know. But when we are grown up, you have a foundation of values, right? So that anything else that you learn on the periphery becomes entertainment. It does not come into your value structure, right? So now if you don't have any values, then the things that should just be entertainment are going to end up being your foundation. You have no foundation because though this woman is your grandmother or that man is your grandfather, he's just a child too. He didn't have any foundation either. And so what do we face now when we're looking at youths who, they don't have, so it's like you can't reason with them from that foundation of, oh, if granny did go to church or if granny, no, they don't even have that.
No.
Right? So these are killers. These are, you know what I mean? The completely different generation. And so how
no
do we
grounding,
talk to these
no
youths?
Foundation,
How do we talk to these youths? And so this is why now I'm holding space for ones like you. Thank you so much for your time, Kabaka. We know you're a very busy producer and so thank you for taking the time. But would I love
man, you get in some of the hype artists them on that chat.
Hear from them.
Yeah, them like, come talk the things.
No judgment. Trust me. Auntie Jah-9 is not going to judge you. I just want to hear from you. Like I would never have access to some of them.
People. I talk about Auntie Jah-9.
Auntie Jah-9.
Jah-9, you're a young woman, you know. You go and like say you're old. You're a young woman.
Trust me, I used to write letters. I'm old enough to write letters and understand, know people's phone number in my head and remember on dial-up sound on the phone. You know that? Yeah, young people. I love young people. I love young people. But yeah.
So tell me, hold on. So what's the experience like over in Africa now? Tanzania, you there?
Yeah.
What's the experience like? What are some of the differences and similarities with Jamaica?
Tanzanian, East African people in general are so much more calm, like gentle.
Yeah.
How they deal with each other, like
that's why it's stuck over there.
Greeting. Hey, Mama Bibi, boa. The exchange goes on for 10 minutes before you even get to the point. No, me coming from the West, sometimes I'm like, and it has really kind of slowed me down to just appreciate greeting someone. Tomorrow is not promised. Just be present in the moment with this person. You know what I mean? So that softening has changed me to the core, you know? And then just really, and seeing how even the virgins deal with each other. Like the men are so gentle even with each other.
Careful.
So when they greet each other with genuine smile on their face and love in them eye. You know, look, when last you see somebody like really turn around to you and just greet you, to the point where you think that these people know each other. No, they don't know each other.
Yeah,
That's just how they are. And it's not like that superficial kind of manners type of, you know, way where they pretend to, oh, hi, okay, you're good. Yeah, everything's good. Yeah, think of yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
They are, you know what I mean? It's
genuine.
It's beautiful.
Heartfelt.
It's disarming. It's beautiful, you know? And I think if anything, that is what some people need to come to Africa to feel warmth from black people, you know? Like some black people need to come just to feel how warm Africa is. Like the people are warm. Even the poorest of people. Like you don't know. And the thing is, when you're here, you don't know who's rich and who is not rich.
Yeah.
Because that's black people. Like, yes, of course you have Mozongo, but you have, it's just black people. And it's the black people is the rich people, it's the black people is the poor people. And when they all meet at the bar, it's just people. You know?
Gotcha.
And yes, you have all the same shit you have everywhere in the world and discrimination and all of that. But I always say that it is really the experience of life that you want to have that you're going to experience, you know?
Got you.
And so
which part of your day is like the main city?
Yeah, I'm in Dar es Salaam, which is like a city vibes. So I live in Dar es Salaam. I live in Dar es Salaam. Yeah.
So what the like the religious population, how that go?
It would almost be half and half with Muslim and Christian here.
Okay. I got you.
And I mean, even
so what the
here,
tolerance level, the tolerance level towards each other?
You don't really see, and this is my experience, because I'm not experiencing Tanzania through the news. I'm experiencing it through interaction.
That's why I interview, you know, about it.
I don't really, pardon me?
That's why I interview, you know.
All right, so it was very good having Kabaka on our line. Thanks very much.
No. Stop it. Answer the question.
I mean, the interaction between, I find it to be quite balanced. Like, I don't see the great disparity. Of course, there are subtleties, and of course, there are things that people have internalized, like certain colonial things people have internalized that will turn your stomach same way, right? And white Jesus will still turn your stomach over here, right? But at the same time, we're not judging it. So I have released so much of the things that I had in my mind about how things should be in life and in the world and people, to the point now where, like, I have an appreciation for every single expression of life. Like, I just in our love place. Like, I just have so much love for all of these people that I'm encountering, you know. And I don't even speak the language. I mean, I'm learning the language, but I don't yet speak it to the point where I can just go out on the street and just strike up a conversation.
So how easy it is speaking English? Like,
Tanzania is not really an English-speaking place.
Okay.
Like how Kenya, you go Kenya, most people speak English. It's not like that. And people prefer if you speak Swahili here. And if you don't speak Swahili, you're not going to have no long conversation with anybody. They're not trying to go through all of that. And I respect that. I respect that so much. So it forces
it's like the French where them look down on you if you start talking English. Like, how dare you not learn my language?
I look down on me for only knowing English. You know what I mean?
Of course.
English being the basis of all the languages. When you hear Swahili, it's like, when I started learning Swahili and I started to see, I'm like, this is such a more intuitive way of expressing language. You know? It just made more sense. It is so much easier to learn. It's hard to learn just become a tough to language, but
I feel like English was kind of created to be universal in that sense that there is no it's really based on logic, you know, and just base intellect. You know, it's
based on
there's
the
no
need
intuitive
to communicate for the purpose of business. It is for the efficiency of commerce. It is not for the expression of emotion.
Which is really, commerce is really the expression of the age that we're in. You know what I mean? It's really the fundamental kind of thing that humans are really doing now. You know,
we of this age deserve English.
Exactly.
And those of us who can live beyond this age, you know, Learn an ancient
Yeah.
language. Go study some ancient texts. Read some books. But
For me,
anyway, sir, Kabaka, listen, you have some people who want to get onto my life, you know, sir. So
who you
we
want to
have
get
to
on
do
the
this
life?
again.
Can you just try
You
to cut my time, you know? You know,
cut
so
your
the
time.
reasoning I get
Talk
deep.
the thing, sir. All right, so I give Kabaka the platform for another moment. Flow, my brother. Flow, my brother.
A joke, man.
Run it.
Go and do
Freestyle.
it. Go and do it. We just test you for see if you give me the platform.
But of course, like, and to say, like, for me, Kabaka is one of my brothers who we have gone through so much together. Yeah?
Yeah.
And Kabaka has seen from the beginning and knows me from when I just decided that this is how I'm going to share. And some of the music that I used to sing back then that don't even release yet. Some of the more fire music where I don't even get to release it. Like I remember from that time. And you know that awakening that you said we need in Jamaica. I remember when we were steady on that trajectory. Like that was the swell that created all of what has now, you know, trickled off
Sure.
and dwindled down into whatever. Like vibrationally, it was the highest in a minute.
Definitely.
And it ignited so many. And it's not because of a person, it is because of the energetics of the time. And I really feel like now is a special time again where we need to use our voices to make people uncomfortable in the most beautiful way. You know, make people uncomfortable in the most beautiful way. Yeah, which means it's the woman them going to do it, because a woman alone can talk to you and say certain things and you don't get mad. You know what I mean?
I've
Man and
always
man
said
talk about
that
things, it going to turn into violence.
exactly what you said is how I would always describe your music. And it has always been something that really strike you at your core. Like your music is music where make you have to look into yourself like on a deep level. Even when you are really just expressing your own introspection, it really like it put you in a place. And that's the thing, you know, like even myself, it's not so much introspection on a personal level, but on a society level. But it's like I realize a lot of people don't necessarily look to music for that. You know what I mean? It's like when them go
True.
on Spotify or Apple Music, them looking
That's
to
not what they're
just
there for.
them looking for a mood or just to feel a
They're looking for
certain
an escape.
escape. Exactly. So our music will always be against the
For
grain
you
from
to
an
face
industry
yourself, yeah.
perspective, like when it comes to them things. So we have to use these platforms now, which I like what you're doing, you know what I mean? And this is how we really get out the message them, because you might not find our songs them on every feel good playlist. You know what I mean? Because you know we are hit up
Some
some
might not
real,
feel good.
yeah, you know,
The darkness, fire
at
hot.
the end of the day. So it's a good vibe. I give
And that
thanks.
is a good thing, because diversity is what keeps, you know, the earth
Yeah,
moving.
everybody have a part
Keeps
to play.
living things flowing. Yes, I. Thank you, my brother, for
Blessings,
being available.
guidance, and
I hope some
protection
of the
out
other
there.
people are still here. I know Habaka is a mic hog and he will take up all the time, but we love you. We love
Why
you.
for the hug? Why
Love
for
you.
the hug and for the mic? Lightning, lightning.
Of course, Jamaica. Big up.
I have a new song I want to sing for you. A joke.
Wow. He does not want to let you go,
You
brother.
know them yard style, like a man does half forget it.
We know you want to. Give us a verse, Kabaka.
No,
Give the
no, no,
people
no,
a
no.
verse.
I
Give us
literally
a
don't.
verse,
No,
Kabaka.
it
No
was a
false
joke.
start.
It was a pure joke. Like,
This was a
me not have
lie.
no new
Okay.
song.
All
Me not
right,
have no
brother.
new song. Me not have no new song.
All right. Big up Kabaka Pyramid. Until next time
Every time,
on the
people.
9 show.
Blessings. Up top. How
All
me
right.
come out? How me exit? Like,
Yo,
cut me
I'm
now.
gonna exit you. I'm gonna
Cut
exit.
me,
Bye
cut
bye.
me, cut me. Come on, go and watch.
Yes, my family. With the brother Kabaka. And we love hearing from the brethren. I saw my sister pop up